O Lord our God, how excellent is your name in all the earth. The heavens declares your glory, the earth proves your majesty. I bow in awe of you. My name is Funke Adetuberu. This is the Straight Talk. Please, I want you to understand the fact that God is a good God. He's the one that reigns and rules in the affairs of men. He will reign, He will rule in your affairs. Just allow Him. Hand over the driver's seat of your life to Him. He will take you further and further. Rapture is your limit. Sky is your starting point. Thank you so much for listening.
Certain best-selling books by Reverend Funke Adetuberu are guaranteed to change your life. The Price of the Perfume, One Woman Gang, and lots more. Copies are available. Place your order now. Call 0802 324 2389 or 0805 506 9311. Also, remind yourself of what God says about you day in, day out with inspiring audio messages by Reverend Funke Adetuberu. Place your orders now on 0802 324 2389 or 0805 506 9311.
In the last episodes, I've been saying so many things about Love Note to Fathers. I'm bringing out this message from one of my books, Love Note to Fathers, and it's so much impactful. They were things that I got by insight, by revelation, by the things that God Himself showed me in the Holy Ghost. I discovered that everything that we do here shows, everything we do on this side of eternity, wherever we find ourselves, is a product and a proceed of where we're coming from. So you need to understand that you must trace it. Whatever the case may be, life is easy in God. He can help you. Help is available at any level. I look at Saul of Tarsus. Now, he was worse than any of us. Or Peter, who was just a fisherman who doesn't know whatever he wants to do with his life. God gave him focus and gave him perspective. God will do the same thing for you. Just come to Him. He's a present help in the time of need. I've been teaching on Love Note to Fathers, and I know that these things are very real. They are more than, they are just real. Let me put it that way. Another type of father, I've given you missing in action dad. I've talked about boundary buster dad. Now we're talking about the next wrong father, which is a critical dad. Now, let's look at the nature of this critical dad. The critical dad is a father who does not accept the person or the composition of his children. I've seen men. I would show you scriptures, but let's look at our contemporary life. Every child is different and is unique. I've seen men, because their child's personality looks like them, like theirs, they have conflict. It's like a man or a chicken looking at himself in the mirror, he begins to hit himself in the mirror. So most of the time, there's always a personality clash. But a critical dad will not accept the person or the composition of his children. He complains about everything. He judges the child. He comes up to say, can't you see your niece? Can't you see your cousin? Can't you see your brother? Can't you see your senior brother? Such dad, they wound and crush the spirit of their children. They are always in the habit of comparing their children with other people's children. Oh my God, I understand that as I understand myself. I've seen parents that will be saying, look at your cousin, look at your niece. They keep comparing kids with themselves. The Bible even says that it's an act of foolishness. He that compares himself with himself is not wise. God doesn't want you to keep comparing yourself with another person, not to talk of comparing your children with another child. Can you see? Check in the book of Proverbs. The Bible talked about 4 generations. We have 4 basic personality types. We have the thinker, we have the boss, we have the perfect, we have the detailed. All these temperaments are wonderful. They are excellent. Peter was in the class of a sanguine. Paul was a choleric. Noah was a thinker, was a melancholy. He would just think and say, me, I'm not going to Nineveh. That's their personality. Abraham was a phlegmatic. But all this temperament, the thinker, the boss, the perfect, the details, they were personality that people had, and God used them with what they are and who they are. So comparing, God does not, if God is, Yoruba does not even read the Bible says, if you use a child to compare another child, you will kill one child. Children are not the same. They came to this world with different attitude, different personality, different composition, and different disposure. Please don't compare your kids with another child. Your child is your child. Your child she's the one. I have in a family that one of them is an extreme extrovert, the other one is an extreme introvert, the same womb. So if you keep comparing kids with other kids, if you keep comparing your child with another child, what you are doing is that you are criticizing them, and critics will always be in crisis. Your kids you're going to crush their image. You're going to make them look, they won't fit into the society because their hero is not believing in them, is telling them that they are not good for anything. You know what happens to critical dad? Let me tell you the secret of that critical dad. He fails to accept his own characteristic traits, so he cannot accept his own. He has problem. It's a mirror conflict. I told you I always have a mirror in my office. When people come and cry and I finish communicating grace to them, I tell them, this is the person, not your wife. This is the person, not your husband. You are the mirror. When the critical dad notices that this child is looking like me, look at me. I've used all my life to drink. I've used all my life to carry women. I'm seeing the personality in my daughter, in my son. The man becomes very, very agitated, and he becomes a critical dad. And there's a legacy that this father gives to her children or his children. One thing is that those children exhibit poor self-image. I've seen children that will achieve so much and so well in their class, but there is nothing anybody says that they are, well, you are pretty. They say, pretty. Oh, you are fun, you are good. They say, not really. Because they have a critical dad, their self-worth, they don't appreciate their achievements. They don't appreciate what life has given to them. They don't appreciate the fact that they are good, they are blessed, they are beautiful, they are handsome. They don't even, if you tell them, oh, you look good, you are wonderful, you are doing well, they think you are flattering them, they get angry. I've seen a man that the wife will always validate, you are wonderful, you are this, you are that. Say, hey, don't talk about it, don't talk about my achievement. He was brought up by a critical dad. So that critical dad has destroyed and damaged his self-esteem to an extent that he cannot even if he's achieving. I told us, it lets him be the best pilot. He's crushed inside. He does not believe he's the best pilot. That's why he goes about drinking, smoking, taking drugs to medicate the wound that is inflicted in his soul. That is the sign that this man was raised by a critical dad. Of course, they also have a challenge in the image of God. They don't believe that God is God. God is real. God is all powerful.
Experience God's power. Encounter powerful miracles. Witness shocking testimonies. Meet with God at the Miracle Pool with Prophet Funke Adetuberu. The Miracle Pool, 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. every Wednesday, and God of Elijah, third Friday of every month, 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. at Faith Chapel International Church, Lebanon Club Road, Yagoku, Aleshinloye Junction, Ibadan. Meet God on the wings of miracles, prophecy, healing, deliverance, and miraculous encounter. The Miracle Pool. It's your season of change.
Welcome back. Another symptoms that this father that I call the critical dad gives to their children, the symptoms is that the children appears domineering. And that dominant trait, that attitude of control is just a facade. It's a makeover. Have you noticed people that you think, oh, he's too aggressive, he's gri. But at the end of the day, they are begging, they are crying, you are wondering, what is wrong with this person? He was raised by a critical dad. A dad that never validates her or him. A dad that never believed in him or her. A dad that will always say you are not good, you are good for nothing. If he comes, hey, I've seen fathers in this world. He will come out with a second grade. Maybe he did second, or he had 6 distinctions and 1 C, 1 credit. The father will say, what's your business? Why can't you make all the distinctions? There is no appreciation, there is no value for that child. So that the child put up a mask of being domineering. Oh, leave me. Those are the guys that comes to a place and hits people with bottle, break heads. They're in a cult. They do everything. They appear domineering, but right inside of them, they are rotten. Another symptoms is that those children are very, very manipulative and defensive. They are very, very manipulative. When you see a child that is raised by a critical dad, he will always manipulate. He can manipulate with anger. He can manipulate with sex. He can manipulate with money. He can manipulate with emotions. He can shut down you for some time. He just it's a kind of manipulation and very, very defensive. They don't believe they are wrong because their critical dad has finished them every time they are wrong. So by the reason of their upbringing, personally, they will never agree with you that they are wrong because the hero has told them they are wrong. They've never been right. So if anybody relates with them and he comes to tell them that this is not good, you are not, you say, no, it's good, I'm doing it well. They cannot take corrections. Why? Because the critical dad has really, really messed up their lives. He has made them to become a child that has no identity. They are like chameleon. A chameleon doesn't have an identity. A chameleon switch from one nook to another cranny. If a chameleon gets to a place now, you know what happens? He picks all the color, lost his own identity. So that's why he doesn't have a color. The effect of a critical dad is that child has lost self-esteem, has lost value, has lost everything that makes that child tick. Don't sit there and say, well, that is me, I cannot help it. No. I tell people, I say, rigidity is an energy of a fool. I want to appreciate you for listening to me. I'll be right back.
Certain best-selling books by Reverend Funke Adetuberu are guaranteed to change your life. The Price of the Perfume, One Woman Gang, and lots more. Copies are available. Place your order now. Call 0802 324 2389 or 0805 506 9311. Also, remind yourself of what God says about you, day in, day out, with inspiring audio messages by Reverend Funke Adetuberu. Place your orders now on 0802 324 2389 or 0805 506 9311.
We have another type of a father. We call them the shadow dad. You know what a shadow is? He's there, but he's not there. When you stand like this, you see your shadow. I watched a little girl that the shadow she was in a place and she was seeing her shadow and she was crying. When she sees her shadow, she will cry. A lot of people cry seeing their shadows. They shed tears because of what they have been through. I'm still coming back to that. But who is a shadow dad? It's not there. You know, one of the nature of a shadow dad is that he's a traditional father who is physically present but emotionally absent. Have you seen that like that? They are present at home, but they are not there. When they come back home, every child goes back to their bedroom. They are in the house. No hugging, no kissing, no touch, nothing. The moment he gets to the house, everybody, man, no papa, Pastor, permit me. Everybody runs away. Why? Because the man is just there. A shadow dad will tell you, what do you want for school? Write your list, put it on the table. If you don't write the proper list and you add a pen, he tells you why? You don't need a pen. That is it. What is his nature? He's there physically. He's there like a mirage, but he's not there. He's not there when you are menstruating as a young lady. He's not there to tell you how men behave. He's not there to tell you, this is how you should handle your friends. He's not there to tell you this is how to handle relationship. He doesn't know anything. Look at his nature. He's disconnected from his children emotionally. He's disconnected. It's just we have a daddy, Popsy. They give them different names. Popsy, I don't know, I've forgotten now. He's there. Old man, they give them names because he's always there. He never allowed his children to have an attachment with him. Such fathers, they always use addiction to cope with their own personal pains. They come home drunk. They are always drunk. The whole house is full of cigarette sticks. They drink, they smoke, they have girlfriends. They bring their girlfriends home, and their children are there and their mothers are there. Because they are a shadow dad, they become traditional. Shut up. I remember a young man. His mother is the first wife, and one day the stepmother was beating his mom. And how can you beat your mom how can you beat a mother in the presence of his son? And he actually beat up the stepmom. My God. When the father came back home, they called all the elders, traditional dad. They called all the elders, and the father told all the elders, this my son beats me today. That's the tradition. He said, anybody that beats my wife has beaten me. And they disgraced that young man. They beat him in the family. Every elder beats him. Then his senior brother beats him. Then the senior sister beats him. Tortured him because he beat his dad. And they still told him to go and beg the stepmother that the boy knew the story of their conflict. He knew that it was the stepmom that was wrong. Today, even though the man is a man of God, he's a serious addict. He can sleep with anything he gets because of the trauma of a traditional dad or a shadow dad. And you know what? That shadow dad is also an addict. For him to have been a polygamist, you know that he's a messed up man. His own great-grandfather is also a polygamist. I'm looking at the trend of family system that makes a child misbehave, makes a child frustrated, brings a child to a place of shame and reproach. Now, look, you know what the father does? When he comes home drunk, you still clean the vomit. Maybe he came home drunk in the night and he vomits in the living room, and he wakes up and still see his mess on the floor. He will beat all the children in the house for not cleaning the mess. I'm sure you are familiar with what I'm saying. If you have not gone through it, you must have seen one person or the other in the neighborhood who had gone through some of these things. And because of that, the children of such persons, they have attachment problem. The children of such a father normally have attachment and communication problem. They can't connect. That's the symptoms. They can't connect. They always want to create. They have problem creating a niche for themselves. Let me put it properly. They have problems in creating a niche for themselves. They must be in a group to survive. Those are the guys you see in cults. Those are the ladies you see in cults. They engage in prostitution. You see them, they just want to belong. They want to be in a clique. They want to be biz girls and biz boys. They're looking for a way to belong. Such children, they are raised from the home of a shadow dad. Those children will never be themselves. They will never stand out and say, this is what I want to be in life. If they stand out at all, they have issues. They don't settle down in a home. Their home is broken. Their marriage is shattered. They find it difficult to communicate with others also. They find it easy to relate with people who are not good. They will see a man or a woman that drinks and smoke, that has a bad character. They'll say, don't worry, I will manage him. I will just manage her. They quickly attach to people that are unattachable. They relate to people, or rather, they relate with people that hurt them, that hurt their feelings. They are comfortable in an abusive, that's a good word. They are very, very comfortable in an abusive relationship. That's the symptoms of children that had a shadow dad. Of course, they find it also difficult to receive from God. Can I say this to us? Every parent, you are going to be accountable to God for your children. You are going to be accountable to God for the way you've raised your seed, your godly seed. If you raise them wrongly, you're going to be accountable. If you raise them well, you're going to be accountable. One day we are all going to start. The Bible says children are God's heritage. I hope fathers are listening to me. I've told you the symptoms. I've made you to know the effect of those. I'm still going to make us to see the effect of these wrong daddies in the life of a male child and in the life of a female child. But I'm saying this to us. You must understand one fact, that you're going to be accountable. Your children are not yours. As a matter of fact, maybe parents will get to understand this better. Let me say this to you. The moment your kids grows, they go back to their own home. If you don't keep your home and keep your marriage, whether you are conscious of it or not, you are going to be alone. Most of the time, when men have not kept their marriage, women have not kept their marriage, they have messed up their relationship. You know what they are expecting? When they are now old, when the children are gone, they want to be friends. It's not possible. You cannot harvest where you have not sown. And that's why you have to start now. When you are born again, it's your spirit man that is born again. Your soul and your mind and your body are not born again. You have to work on yourself. You have to renew your mind. Do you notice that Jesus said something? In Matthew 12:43-45, he said, if an unclean spirit goes out of a man, hey, now you are born again. You are no more smoking. You are no more drinking. Initially, he walks through dry places, seeking rest and findeth not. He said, let me return. By the time he comes back, by the time he comes back to that house, the Bible says he will go back and bring 7 stronger demons. And you start acting as if you are not born again. Listen to me. When you have these wrong fathers, in the last episode, I've talked about shadow dad. I've talked about missing in action dad. I've talked about traditional dad. I've talked about boundary buster dad. If you have a father like this, they are the one that has laid the foundation of any wrong life you are living now. I want to appreciate you for listening to me. If I have said anything at all that has to do with you, and you know that true, this woman is saying something that has to do with me, please don't start going everywhere looking for deliverance. What you need is to be emotionally healthy. You need to recover. You need a recovery program, a way of garbaging in and garbaging out. Like I said, you have to trace it, you have to face it, you have to erase it and start replacing it. One of the things that God has helped me to do in the lives of people is to help them to start replacing it. You know, just peeling it one after the other, line upon line, precept upon precept, and God has really helped me. Now, I want to say this. Probably you just thought, I need to communicate with this woman. By all means, please don't call me. Send me a text. The informations are there. And if you want me to pray with you, also send me a text. Please don't call. And if you have not met with Jesus and you want to allow Jesus to come into your life, this is an opportunity for you. You can pray with me. Father, thank you because I know that I'm a sinner. Please forgive me. I want a new life. Thank you for forgiving me. If you make that decision, this prayer is just because we're limited to time, I will still pray with you if you send me a text. I promise to call you back. Thank you so much for listening. See you next time.